Good morning, my name's Cindy Armstrong, and this is the Delta Collegiate News. U.S.-Venezuela tensions rise after Navy strike. Tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela are heating up after President Trump announced a U.S. Navy strike on a boat in the southern Caribbean. He said the vessel was carrying drugs linked to a Venezuelan gang and called it a terrorist boat. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the strike, calling it a hit on a narco-terrorist group. Trump later posted a video of the attack and said 11 people were killed. The strike follows the recent deployment of U.S. warships near Venezuela. Washington accuses President Nicolas Maduro of running a drug cartel and has offered a $50 million reward for his capture. Maduro, newly sworn in for a disputed third term, called the U.S. buildup a threat and says 4.5 million militia members are ready to defend the country. Critics say the Trump administration's policy on Venezuela is mixed, noting the U.S. recently renewed an oil deal with Chevron. So far, Venezuela hasn't officially responded to the strike. Now heading over to Jake.
The Detroit Lions open up their season against the Packers this Sunday at Lambeau Field. The Packers just traded for edge rusher Micah Parsons from the Cowboys, who look to make an impact and cause trouble for Jared Goff. On defense, the Lions are hoping to get a full season out of Aiden Hutchinson, coming off his leg injury last season. Finally, the duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery look to continue their dominance in the backfield as the Lions are looking to finally make that leap and win a Super Bowl this year. The undefeated defending champion women's soccer team play their home opener this coming Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. against Kellogg Community College. They come into the season ranked number 1 in the Division III NJCAA rankings. The team looked to carry over the success from last season into the season and win another national title. The women's volleyball team also play a home game against Henry Ford College next Wednesday at 6 p.m. The team is coming off of the Owens Community College Invitational, where they went 1-3 over the weekend and are looking to bounce back against the struggling 1-5 Henry Ford volleyball squad. Back to you, Sydney.
Scientists slam Department of Energy climate report for errors and misleading claims. More than 85 scientists are pushing back against a recent Department of Energy climate report, calling it deeply flawed and misleading. The report, led by Energy Secretary Chris Wright and compiled by 5 climate skeptics, downplays the dangers of global warming and even suggests rising carbon dioxide could benefit the United States agriculture, without addressing the negative effects of extreme heat and weather. Critics say the report cherry-picks data and misrepresents key climate science. One example, it denies rising drought intensity, ignoring how heat and evaporation also worsen drought conditions, not just rainfall. The scientists submitted to a formal rebuttal as a part of the DOE's public comment period, which ends Tuesday. They argue the report is being used to justify rolling back key climate regulations, including the EPA's endangerment finding, which supports limits on pollution from power plants, vehicles, and the oil and gas industry. Climate expert Andrew Dessler says the report lacks credibility in peer review, unlike global reports from the UN. He warns it's designed to delay action and protect the status quo. The DOE says its internal experts reviewed the report and claims it aims to promote a more science-based conversation. Now heading over to Nick.
Welcome back. I'm Nick, and I have your pop culture report. Over the weekend, the internet exploded when Young Thug's jail phone calls got leaked, exposing him for snitching, hating on various other rappers, and admitting to botting his streams. This comes on the back of several months of Thug subliminally dissing Gunna, calling him a rat, and the industry initially turning their back on the former YSL label member. But now it seems that the tables may be turning, with the core public opinion clowning Young Thug, saying he's had the worst post-prison run of any rapper. On the other end of the spectrum, Sabrina Carpenter's album, Man's Best Friend, came out on the 29th, and it had the highest streaming day for a female artist in 2025. This album follows her previous offering, Short and Sweet. And last but not least, Bobby Eltoff, who gained popularity for her podcast, now titled Not This Again, did another interview with Drake after taking down the initial one. They touched on various topics such as the BBL Drizzy jokes, Drake's real or fake abs, and his future tours and whether or not he'll head back to LA, following the beef with Kendrick Lamar. That's all for today. See you next time. I'm Nick.
NFL returns this week. Here's what you missed in the offseason. The NFL is back this Thursday with the Philadelphia Eagles kicking off their title defense against the Dallas Cowboys. But even during the offseason, the league stayed front and center with major player moves and new contenders emerging. The biggest shock came just last week. Dallas traded All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons to Green Bay after failing to agree on a new contract. The Packers responded by making Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in the league history. Four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers also headlines signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers after months of speculation. Rodgers says this will likely be his final NFL season. Pittsburgh made the move after losing both of last year's quarterbacks. Justin Fields is now with the Jets, and Russell Wilson joined the Giants. In Minnesota, quarterback Sam Darnold had a breakout season, but the Vikings handed the starting job to second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Darnold heads to Seattle on a big contract, but the team can cut ties after just 1 year. Seattle also moved on from Geno Smith, trading him to the Raiders, where he reunites with coach Pete Carroll. At wide receiver, the Cowboys added George Pickens from Pittsburgh, who made room by trading for DK Metcalf. The Rams signed Davante Adams after letting Cooper Kupp walk. He landed in Seattle. And Washington boosted protection for young quarterback Jaden Daniels by trading for star offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil. As always, stay safe, stay informed, and take care. This is Sydney Armstrong with the Delta Collegiate signing off.